Well, okay. You'll notice there's a picture that Miss Sharon so helpfully put up, and that what that is the other house, the one that has a shed in it. That is, there's a living room, a front room, kind of entrance living room, and then Joe built another complete living room, bigger than that stands off the other side of the kitchen. And then that there is the back room going toward the shed. In fact, if you could see out of that sliding glass door, you would actually see the shed that we store stuff in. Okay. And since I am not a liar, and I don't go through preconceived endings and then try to justify it with made up facts, I'll just tell you what that picture's all about. There's an old black man, veteran, and he got foreclosed on. He did our repairs. Him and Sonny were doing a lot of the repairs in Joe's house. The house wasn't in disrepair. Joe was always building. That whole area you see there, he built in the wood shop, and brought it in, a piece of it, including the brickwork, everything. But he died before he could finish. And Davis had been in the Army with Joe, and had gone over, and he knew Joe's original plans, what he wanted the porch to look like, the kind of paint he wanted. Replaced the front wall on the shed, because Joe had used a type of particle board that was deteriorating, and Davis went and used some shiplap or something that would not deteriorate and painted it with Thompson's and everything. But anyway, he got foreclosed on, and since the house was empty, I was over here. The house was empty. Pam, my wife, told him, "Well, Davis, you and your family just move in there until you find a place and everything. And you're working on the house anyway, so you don't owe me any rent. You do your work, okay?" So that's what he did. Now, he had his whole house full of furniture, and he brought all his furniture over in his truck and everything. And one thing I want to explain to you about the shed, Amy's stuff wasn't sectioned off or anything like that. I mean, we didn't. There was other things going on in the world besides Amy Sharon. Joe's tools were still in there. His wood shop tools were still in there, which Davis and Sonny naturally would go in and use. He had 2 table saws. There was at least 7 routers that he had around. And all this stuff was on heavy steel tables attached to the floor. He had a computer in there that would etch wood for him and all this. And naturally, Davis and Sonny made use of these tools during their repairs. Now, all of Davis's stuff, most of his stuff, would go in there, because we had beds over there, and we had a couch in the front room, and there was an easy chair, and Joe had come upon a big old wraparound couch like the one I'm sitting on here, and it was in the large living room that he had constructed. But the front room, the back room going toward the shed, always been kind of naked. The kids played there. All the grandkids would go in there and play with their toys. But with Davis there, he was really good at interior design, and he set up 2 things that I was really happy with. That was one of them right there. He set up a place where it was cool or cold or too hot. We could sit there and watch television, talk, drink beer, whatever we wanted to do. And he set up what I call his Hawaiian area on the porch. It was a large back porch extending the full width of the house. It was a country porch. And on one end, he had hanging Chinese beads, wicker furniture, a real nice lounge area for people to sit up by the pool. We were facing the swimming pool, which sits beside the shed, okay? Now, he went in and out of the shed naturally. And little by little, he's bringing stuff out of the shed, and he set up those 2 areas. I would assume he was bringing his own stuff out. But however, Davis was never briefed on, now this is Amy's stuff, don't touch it. Or this is so-and-so, so don't touch it. He just assumed everything in the shed was our stuff. So those items in that picture could have been Davis's. They could have been Joe's. They could have been some of Amy's stuff. I don't know. Okay? So if she's trying to use that picture as evidence that I stole anything, I wasn't living there. Don't know where the stuff comes from. All I know is the man set up a nice sitting area and a nice Hawaiian sitting area outside, and he used furniture that he brought out of the shed, except for the clock. Now, that clock there, and I know she's going to jump up and scream, "Oh, my grandmother's clock." I saw the clock come in through the front door of the house. That was his wife's clock. It didn't work, by the way. It never worked, but it looked nice in the corner. Okay, and she wouldn't allow that to be thrown in the shed. She wanted to stay in the house, and so he naturally put it up there in the corner. So that was not that. I know that was not her clock because I saw it come in through the door. And then while Davis was there, he continued to do repairs. In fact, we finished the repairs while he was there and everything. And within a couple of months, 2 or 3 months, he found another place for him and his family to move, and they went and got their stuff and they moved out. Okay. He's a very wise old boy, and in fact, we was talking about women one time, and he was sitting out there in the Hawaiian room on the porch, and he had Cleo, my dog, on his lap, and he was feeding her chicken wings, and he was talking about problems with women, and especially women like Amy, really. And he said, "I'm gonna tell you something. Tell you the wisest thing you ever heard." What? He said, "All women's is bipolar. See this dog right here? This dog bipolar." Yeah, and now I want to address the hacking thing. So I'm hearing a lot about the hacking thing. And again, I'm going to be perfectly truthful with you. I told you the story yesterday when I was out shopping with Spike about Scott Bensack. And old Scott was an old card. I mean, he was an old con man from way back. I kind of miss him. But he was doing pretty much what Amy's doing, but his stuff was a little more riveted in reality. But he would make fun of my name. He'd say my name like Mr. Ed, Wilbur. And my son had some people out there in the West Coast and everything. And what they did was they wrote an algorithm, a subroutine. And what the subroutine did on an iPhone or Android, you can do subroutines on a dot and Alexa, things like that, where you say, "Alexa, good morning," and I hear the news, the weather, and stuff like that. And you can do an algorithm on. Just a minute. Hear that? That's Alexa, because I just said her freaking name. Don't go away. Alexa, stop! Jesus Christ. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, okay. Anyway, I just demonstrated an algorithm right there. This algorithm was really simple. Once Wilbur was said by Scott, it would make his phone restart.
Get your phone out of my face.
Very simple. The way it got onto his phone was he had a girlfriend named Dawn, and she was a real hacker. She thought she was really cool. And they were calling my number. And I had blocked both of them, but I knew their location was Las Vegas. So after a couple of weeks, I kept getting texts and calls from Las Vegas, where Dawn was trying to get into my phone. Okay, and what her con was that she'd get in there and get your credit card information and they'd steal. Okay, well, what they did was they put this algorithm on my phone, the subroutine, and it wouldn't work on. It wasn't fixed where my phone would do it, but when it was transported, like when she got in and tried to download stuff off of my phone or get in there and find out what's going on, she brought home a little Christmas present, which was this algorithm. Naturally, her and Scott were on the same network there at the hotel, so he got it on his computers and on his phone and everything else. All right. So, what I suspect, I blocked Amy years ago. 2012, 13, I blocked her years ago. But as you know, she's always getting a new phone and changing numbers on it. So when this mess started up, I noticed I was getting calls from Baytown and a couple of calls from Houston. I never answer calls that people I don't know. If your name don't come up, I'll send back, usually I'll send back a message to the person. I'm sorry I don't take unknown calls, okay? Unfortunately, in that message is probably that algorithm. Okay, so about that time, about 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever, a month ago, you'll notice Amy started screaming and hollering that she couldn't stay on Facebook Live very long without it circulating. Exactly like Scott Bensek. He'd say Wilbur when he'd say it within less than a minute, he'd go off and he'd come right back on in about 2-3 minutes, and be spitting and sputtering and cussing Facebook, just like they're cutting my videos off, and I've been red flagged and all this kind of stuff. It was the algorithm that did it. Okay. So another thing, she's saying she's having to prove who she is and everything because she's spamming. She said, no, they're hitting me so hard and they're controlling my Facebook because I don't see anybody. I don't even know this is going out. Nobody's watching. That's right, Amy. Nobody's watching. Okay? Damn few people are going to watch this thing. That means nobody's watching, Amy. Okay? Simple as that. I'm getting lots of views for the movie Traveling Shoes. I'm very few views on this stuff. This is only of interest to about 50 or 60 people, but they're important people to me. Right? But so, Amy, that's what it is. Now, let's talk about narcissism. One of our members also said that it appeared that we were fueling the fire by showing her attention. Yes, that's what a narcissist is. Okay? She sits there, and the reason she doesn't show her face is she's probably busy stroking herself while she's making the video. Add that and you can't see the meth pipe. You know, I mean, it could be anything. I don't know. But, yeah, that's what she's doing. Also, the FBI does not take cases just off the wall like this. And I'm not even being investigated by anybody. I went on Fort Hood yesterday and presented my ID to get onto the post and all that kind of stuff. I didn't have any problem at all. I also called Brother Theo. And it don't take very long. Hey, I hear we're under investigation. We need to come in and make a statement. No. Okay. FBI is not worried about Amy. She's a flagged nut. She is on a file at Houston PD as mentally deranged. That's why they don't pay any attention to her. It's very simple. She was not on location for a very famous TV show. It was not her first day on the job. Okay, so they just canceled all production. This great documentary that's coming out in March, and they just, some lady walked up and called Amy a bitch, and so we're just going to shut the whole TV show down. Do the math. Do the freaking math, okay? These things are not true. And now she wants somebody to copy, please download and copy my movie Delirious and everything, or Deluded, or whatever she called it, you know. I've never even watched that thing. It's probably just a collection of photographs and PDFs of her evidence and all that kind of crap. She's never written a book. She's been on these little internet radio spots, you know, telling the same exact story she's telling now. She still doesn't have her daughter back, and there's good reason for it. Would you want a little girl living with Amy Sharon? I mean, really, think about it, okay? All right, that's about going to wind this stuff up and everything. And check out my lady over here giving the old shotgun again.
I'm going to take a guess on how many times you're going to get shotgun here.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this.